Hola! You have a sweet meeting with one of your old friends and you already said yes. She sent you the Instagram link and you kinda know where it is, but kinda have no idea at the same time. But as an automatic reflex, you switch application and in a few clicks, oh miracle, you found it. You check the public transport, select your time, save it, maybe take a screenshot, and get ready. This is part of what we call the customer journey of Google Maps. Now, if you have lived under a rock for the past 16 years or so, what is Google Maps? It is a web mapping service developed by Google. It provides access to satellite imagery, 360 street view, an Earth view, and itinerary system, and many other things. We can call it a digital map. Originating from the C++ program at We2 Technology, bought and converted by, you guessed it, Google in October 2004. It also purchased the geospatial data visualization, Keyhole, the company that provides the Earth viewer, ZipDash, a real-time traffic analyzer. It also allows third-parties websites to embed Google Maps with the help of an API. Until a certain number of key use, this process is free, and then third-parties companies will have to pay a fee. It was launched in February 2005 in the US. But as Gary Gale, co-founder of Multidal Geospatial, said, it wasn't the first out there. But the role of Google Maps in transforming digital maps, making them popular and bringing them from a tech niche into the public consciousness cannot be underplayed. It is true that at the time, and even now, it's far from being the only player in digital mapping. When we look at their competitors, most of them are doing equal job, missing maybe some small functions of Google Maps. But the core of it is here. Yet, when looking at the data, Google Maps is by far the most popular. But which could be seen as normal for a systemic service to have a systemic market. And again, the others are doing what they were asked for. Not only because their service is good, but the way that they are addressing it. Not because Google Maps hammers for you, but also because it will ask you how you want it hammered and showing you what they would do if they were you. We talk about the 9 imperatives of marketing in web culture. We define the shape of business as web strategy and values. Foster open relationship, focus all participants on end customers, thread employees and contractors as investor or digital capital, define governments and rules of engagement, manage performance of human capital across the business web, manage knowledge across the business web, codify culture and process object, and embrace the next generation. The revenue of Google Maps in fact comes from their fees, advertising revenue, and ad sharing program. It helps the customers as the customers help them to get the attention they both want. Because even more in digital market, the perception and preferences of your customers decreasingly depend on what company says about itself. I quote, "There is more to explore with Google Maps," was the closing sentence of the latest YouTube video. But who has time for this, you may ask? To control time is to control efficiency, the most time-effective path for the potential customer. We all know time is related to space. What takes place in time is having a spatial implication and vice versa. We create the dimension, an event. And that is what Google Maps is probably aiming by saying the last sentence. Dean Van Roden talks often about the philosophical aspect of time between the social time and the economic time. He says, computerization, that is a very important phenomenon in our society. But what is its basic trends? It's all hidden in the drive to want to know everything in our life and in the fact that we want to know, to comprehend either brains. If you consider that life is so limited and we have the average of, say, 80 years to have it all, this all leads to our desire to participate in the flow of information. And the drive to think that we have to do it ever faster. The acceleration of it all, wanting to have and do everything within this life. It all has to be shortened and fast and accelerating. We are always in a hurry, always rushing. One of the true power of Google Maps is to expand our knowledge and how we can naturally control it over space and time. It is a system folded into our use that we can use, reuse, toggle, download over and over. The flow of information is given by the compression of time. We have more things to do because we are more efficient. But Dick Van Roden also said and add to this that we need to take the time to consider a sense of what you want to convey. It takes an enormous amount of time to produce relevant information, and we do not take enough time. So we give information a huge spin, and it just cannot all get through, and it cannot all be relevant. Like I hope this video will be. The compression of information affects directly on the speed of decision making, and computers are not creative by themselves. They take time if so, and we all have experienced it in a way or another. Google Maps is not only efficient, but it will gain the time to make you explore more, gain time for you to use it better. Take a look to my small SWOT analysis of it. You have the strength, the weakness, the opportunities, and the threats of Google Maps. What is very interesting to see is that Google Maps make it clear of what they are good for and try their best to try new things. We also understand that market is a conversation, like the fact that Apple and Google used to be partners and that lead them up to work together. When launching the first iPhone in 2007, that was a game changer, as Google Maps was the default map application for all iPhone until late 2012. In 2008, Google Maps also was launched with Android, but not as the default app. And 5 years of default application on all iPhone was enough for Google Maps to market themselves as a habit. I could easily use, for example, here from the Nokia company, but I have the habit of having Google Maps, like I have the habit of using Google. In 1996, Walter Wriston says, "Who will create the financial service supermarket? Will it be something called like a bank? I think not." And you watching this video already have a cute little idea in your head. It probably sounds like Amazon, Alibaba, and you name it, Google. Google Maps is here for you to save time, explore, waste time in their website for hours looking at the street views of places you can't afford to go, or just wandering around on Mars because it's fun. The interaction is small inside, but the values that it shares outside of the platform, like the location of a restaurant, your own location, having the map embedded in other websites, and sometimes even in games, is what making Google Maps look at the advertisement of their customers, and it works. And as McKenna quote, "Real time occurs when time and distance vanish, when action and responses are simultaneous." Being a multiple solution to one question is a way to design a service in the 21st century. When these customers grew up with a non-channel GPS in the car like I did, and bring not only efficiency but fun and trust in a service that needed the most. Because to ask direction works in a lot of ways if you're lucky to be in front of a good person or that have clear explanation. It brings back a curiousness and a feel that we left with the paper map, not because it doesn't work, but maybe because we don't want it to work anymore. And Google Maps understood this. It may have been very lucky to find us, but it added so much more of what we expect now from a map than before. And this is how you become memorable, I think. Thank you.